Greetings, fellow humans. Welcome to the second episode of playing Death Knight with a Hearthstone game designer. When we recorded these games, it was right after the balance patch had hit, giving us some buffs to the Death Knight class. And we ended up deciding on playing Renathal Unholy Death Knight, because the idea of generating board after board after board is extremely satisfying for board-based gamers. And shout out to FunkiMonki for creating this list and letting me use it during this stream. His information will be down in the description below, so make sure you're subscribed to him if you aren't already. And don't forget, if you do enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel to be notified about any other future uploads we happen to come out with. And also, don't forget to watch part 1 of playing Death Knight with a Hearthstone game designer, where we were experimenting with how Frost Death Knight has taken over the Legend ladder. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you for the next one.
Ram School Teacher is just such a strong combo for Death Knight.
And I feel like that might be like the reason why we can't rotate Bran early, is because as much as Bran may be quote unquote problematic in other people's words and other classes, in Death Knight it really feels like it's one of the big comeback turns that you can produce sometimes, especially with like Horn Winter and whatnot.
I think Bran is strong, but only really crossed the line in Druid, which is why I think Final Design hit that Anubricon combo.
Yeah, and I think the way that they nerfed it definitely helps out, because like you can still do like Bran into a Nubricon value, but like now you can't just like set up Astrolor all in one turn. I think that might have been the biggest problem with the deck.
Yeah,
so I like that.
exactly.
All right, so this is just probably get rid of everything, because that is not low curve. Undead Monkey.
Body Bagger on 1 always feels good.
Especially with this deck. Like, Body Bagger doesn't find its way too frequently in, it doesn't find its way in, like, Frost DK or in Blood. But in Unholy, you definitely like it on turn 1. We also have Coin Graveyard Shift in order to set up the Vizier.
Guardians Army. Marker. Alright.
Okay, so Coin Graveyard Shift in order to potentially set up Vizier, but we also could coin out the Deathbringer, and if it dies, we get the 3/3. Do we care to potentially set up a Corpse Bride? That's the only reason to not do that.
I think they like Graveyard Shift.
I think I do too, because like the idea of getting value from his... Oh wait, we could also get value.
Oh yeah,
from
we
Vizier.
could just Vizier it now.
Yeah, I think we do it now.
I think
we do it now. Because next turn we can just Graveyard Shift, and then we have like a more sticky board. Now, Plague Grain for 0, I think we just definitely do that because of Corpse Bride.
I jam that. Yeah, especially with 2 big Corpse Spenders in hand.
Yeah, you're allowed to ask questions, Andradio.
Big,
if you want to ask questions to Celestalon, he is reading chat right now.
Sometimes when I look over, I happen to. Purple Haze. Here's thoughts about nobody bringing DK to Worlds. I mean, DK went out a little soft. There were just some things in the meta that were too strong overall. I mean, you saw nerfs happen. I think DK just couldn't compete with those. But I do think it's more a problem of a couple things that are on the too strong side than DK being particularly underpowered. I think the thing that I was most happy with on launch was just that DK was generally regarded as very fun, and people had a great time playing it, even if it wasn't top tier power level wise. And just a couple quick balance changes can catch it back up.
And I also agree that like as long as Death Knight feels fun to play, even if it's not top tier, that is what's most important. Because it'll get better when we have more cards being added into the mix, and that's just because of when it was released. So I decided to go with the turn 3 build minions in order to make like this Corpse Bride really juicy on turn 5. So do we want to like get rid of the value by like playing this and potentially having it die?
I don't know about that, but I kind of like Hero Power or Necromancer.
We either could trade or pull from Vizier if we want to.
What's still okay? So what are we just full trading into the 4/4?
That's what I'm thinking. Full trade to the 4/4, make this really big. I think I also like Vizier a little bit more than this.
Yeah, it depends on what we discover, but probably let's do the discover quick.
Yeah,
might change the trades we do.
Another plague drain?
Another plague drain. Let's just hit it.
Just
yeah.
gonna do it.
Sure. Yeah.
In all honesty, like, this isn't even that bad, because, like, if we do this, it takes up 10, and then we're almost still at 4 for, like, grave strength and, like, other cards to still be good. Oh, Howling Blast, no!
How is our famished fool doing? That's probably... Is it done now?
Yeah, it's done now.
Okay.
I completely missed it being in hand, in all honesty. I was too busy focusing on how many corpses we're gonna have.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, kind of just have to go for it. But I mean, we have to kill this 2/2, unfortunately. Like killing the 1/1. Yeah.
So okay, do we go for the corpse? All right.
I think we do.
Huge Marigars can be pretty scary sometimes.
It can be, but it's also like if we give him too much time, like unfortunately, like in this matchup, this happened to be earlier on stream. I ended up like playing Marigar, and then they just froze the entire board.
Yeah.
So sometimes doing that can be a way to lose. But there's also forces out.
They need AoE freezes, not single target freezes.
Yeah.
It's also like every corpse going into a Marigar, every additional corpse is +2/+2, whereas on Corpse Sprite it's only +1/+1.
That is a fair argument. Could do
That's
Famish for
pretty
now,
big difference.
but it's kind of have to.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we
Plague
got
Drain.
more plague.
More Plague Drain.
So
Yeah.
much grain.
So much grain.
Oh man.
And here I was thinking we might not have enough corpses for Marigar.
I think the only concern is whether or not we make it to that turn and survive. Because, like, one thing that kind of sucks is that if Frost DK is going to be so popular, it's really hard for Unholy to come back here. Like, I feel like Unholy might actually have to start teching in Starfish if this matchup is going to be a common occurrence. Because if I had a Starfish right now, oh man, I'd feel real good right now.
So...
I mean, Talon?
Talon? Yeah, we might be Taloning.
There's really nothing else we can do except Plague Drain or Hero Power.
Talon and Necromancer?
We don't have the board space to
we
get
don't have the room
yeah.
for that. Yeah.
I guess we just do this in Plague Grade for the big Marigar potential.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, at the end of the day, Frost Death Knight is the winner, and we are very happy with this news, but if you're an Unholy Death Knight gamer, it might be sad news for you.
I think we just let too much... I think we were just too greedy here and let too much go face.
Yeah, I think, I mean, at the same time, I feel like the only other turn that really could have been that different was maybe playing the...
Deathbringers earlier, maybe here.
Yeah, the Deathbringers earlier, or maybe playing the Famish Fool earlier. But him freezing the entire board it's just so hard to play around, you know?
I mean, taunts help with that, because they don't keep chipping in with as much of a spell-focused deck as Frost kind of seems like it is. That was still, like, of the 30 damage we took there, like, 12 or 15 of it was minions, right? So
yeah, just about. So maybe if we did have that taunt minion, we could have absorbed a little bit more. Yeah, I think we were a little bit greedy with our corpses, and that is something to point out about Death Knight, is that a lot of people have been talking about, like, maybe adjusting, like, corpse counts, and that's exactly what happened with the most recent nerfs that we had. But, like, your usage of corpses is very important depending on certain matchups. And that's, like, that's something that's very valuable.
Yeah.
That adds more, that just adds, like, another skill to learn in order to play the deck properly.
Yeah, corpse handling is definitely a very different mindset than almost any other class handles right now. So
All right,
it's definitely like, what is the value of a corpse is really hard to narrow down.
What is the value of a corpse? That's a very dark question.
Yeah.
But, like, it's funny because, like, whenever I think about corpses, the very first thing that pops into my mind is the Monty Python, bring out your dead! Bring out your dead!
The originally, the card that ended up as Defrost was originally named Bring Out Your Dead and was in Unholy.
I mean, but then you couldn't call it a Frost card if it wasn't called the Frost then, right?
Well, then we moved it to Frost, and what did we change it to? Like, I don't remember what we changed it to, but it was just, we changed one word to, like, Bring Out Your Frost or something. Or unfreeze your dead or something like that.
Trying really hard to make the pun work.
It was trying to make the pun still work, and it didn't work. So that was like one of the cards that we renamed like 8 times or something. That was hard, and we finally went with just the simple defrost.
So, can't fix what ain't broken sort of deal.
Okay, so here's
really rough start with this deck so far.
This is rough, yeah.
Part of me just wants to play the Chill Farm Baron just to maybe bring up the clutch count, but like this just to find a spell and contest board seems to be the best option in my opinion.
Yeah, it's also just stat-wise it contests board the best.
Yeah, I think we should do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Corpse Explosion, I mean, hey, we got AoE now. I think we have to take that. I mean, Frost Strike could be good later on, but like this is just good now, going into like turn 5, but it does use corpses though. I think it's Corpse Explosion.
I think so.
Go
Unholy wants to be on the board so much, the Corpse Explosion hitting both sides pulls it back a bit for me, but
yeah, but we gotta take over. I mean, we gotta destroy his board and then rebuild.
We're behind enough right now that we don't have that luxury.
And since we also have like Baron potentially hitting the field next turn, like we're using these next couple turns to build up. It's just whether or not this is too much damage, and that is something I am kind of worried about.
So, what are we doing this turn?
Like
this is just like, oh, what did they choose?
Probably just went with the card draw. I feel like no, it's gotta be Wildfire, right? Because I would never pick that, and he always gets it for free. Easy card to pump up the multicaster as well. So yeah. I'm just gonna pick Water.
I like Wildfire.
Yeah. If only it would have been useful to pick Wildfire.
Okay, does that change things? Can we Hero Power and Necrotic?
There's not a lot that we can discover. We can try to discover for future turns, but for doing that, we're only killing 1/2/2. Either that or we can trade into here and see what happens first.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It might die anyway.
Yo, Lambie coming in with the raid. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Playing some
hey, Lambie,
Death Knight with game designer Celestalon. And we just found a Plague Grain. That is really good for future turns. I feel like we have to go for it.
Yeah, in fact, we might want to just play that now.
Yeah, because now we have the Corpse Explosion value. We can kill whatever board, and then we can still set up future turns.
Yep.
But yeah, we're trying. We've been playing a variety of decks. We tried out Frost DK, worked like a charm. Beautiful deck. I don't think we could cook it up any better. Unholy is right now trying to get a win against Ping.
We're on game 2. We're on game 2 of Unholy, but it's not looking great.
I think this is. I would prefer this as Donkey Mage. I mean, it is just regular Ping Mage, but I love how Donkey's the one that put this back into to meta relevancy. They really tried hard to make like Ping Mage feel good again, and this deck actually does feel like an honest to god threat.
Yeah, I think we have to Corpse Explosion.
Yeah, kaboom! Absolutely love that animation.
We do have a slight tweak to that animation coming of what was the change? Something about like the center of it is a little more darker, so it's not quite as just like jarring flashes. And I think it's the explosions are a little more central and a little smaller, so they don't feel like they're just green wide.
Yeah, because that is something that I actually had. I ended up making a tweet about that a couple of weeks ago. Where it was like, hopefully this doesn't trigger people's like epilepsy and stuff like that. But I imagine that you guys went through what was necessary to make sure that wouldn't happen on release.
Yeah, we do have a process we go through for that sort of thing. I don't know the details specifically, but I think the pulse rate on that is so slow that it's not a concern for that.
Okay, that's great to know.
I think. I don't know a whole lot about that side of the business, but I think so.
Thinking about Baron into Deathbringer, maybe? It does spend some corpses, though. That's the only reason I'm hesitant.
I think we're not really in a position where we can afford to try to save up for a huge Marigar.
That's true.
If we had hit, like, discovered 3 Plagued Grains or something.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like, we played a lot of Plague Grains, but I feel like we've only seen the 2/2s, like, twice.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Of last game, we played 3 Plagued Grains, and I think we got 2 2/2s total at the very last turn or something.
Oh, so this is the question that I asked about with like Frost DK. But what were there any like unholy cards that you felt like were like that were completely different when you first were drafting them, like that like completely changed from their release?
Yeah, and I don't think I even answered that on Frost. I think we tangented onto something else.
Yeah, I think that actually I can't remember if you replied to that or not.
Yeah, so I'll answer both of them. The card you just drew, Necrotic Mortician, late in development. Through most of development, we decided, or we thought we didn't want to do very much Discover for them because of how much it breaks rune colors. And then later in development, we decided to do some rune color specific Discovers. And so changed Necrotic Mortician to Discover Unholy cards. What are we doing here? Yeah, Anti-Magic Shelf, sure.
Yeah, so my idea is to try and set up for the Bran school teacher turn, but I need to try and counter a minion and like make sure that Reckless Apprentice doesn't just like automatically end it.
Sure.
So that's why I played out Elkani.
Oh.
But I feel like if we don't get healing from the school teacher, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
that was why I feel like we have to double it up. Okay, all in. I need Deathblow isn't available. What can we even find here? I actually have no idea. Anti-Magic Shell isn't terrible.
Yeah.
Just have to pick it. Obliterate. Howling Blast?
Howling Blast, maybe?
Howling Blast on this twice. It does clear the entire board.
Yeah, that clears. Yeah. But prior to that, Necrotic Mortician was, I think it said, whenever a friendly undead dies, gain Reborn. So you could just keep that Mortician regenning itself over and over.
That would be kind of goofy.
It was cool. Like it's a neat effect that I think we might revisit at some point, maybe. But it wasn't required for any sort of thing. So, hey, look, we're dead. All right.
Yeah. Well, does that mean that we should expect more Reborn, like keywords? Is it just going to be like a Death Knight thing, or is it just going to be like a new evergreen keyword? I think wasn't that already answered?
Yeah, it's just Reborn is just an evergreen keyword now.
All right.
And I think you'll mostly see it on undead stuff, but maybe there's a few things here and there otherwise that may get it. And because it's most prominently on undead, you'll probably see it most in Death Knight, but there'll be cases elsewhere too.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's most thematic in Death Knight for sure, but I mean, like, there's always like Priest, there's Warlock. Yeah. I mean, to a lesser extent, kind of maybe Shaman. I mean, I don't know how much Shaman are doing unnaturalistic things like raising the dead, but
Shaman
there's zombies.
Shaman do some things with spirits, like spirit wolves and such. That are maybe not this expansion, but in general, they're less like the theming here is a little hard to nail down exactly right. But it's spirits that are like trying to help the shaman. They're calling on the ancestors. That sort of vibe for undead interaction with shaman.
Yeah, usually undead has like a negative connotation. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Speaking to your ancestors has a more positive sort of connotation, but things like ghost wolf and like spirit wolves, like that is like they're ghosts, so it's
technically undead.
But yeah,
it's a very thin line to walk.
It is. It's also warlocks are also in kind of a similar role of they toe the line of being like they deal with soul. The word we usually use for warlocks is stuff about souls, as in they'll like rip the souls out of enemies and use them as a power source. Yeah, exactly. But they don't raise the corpses. They don't deal with undead very much, or really ever. But we kind of fudge that a bit for this expansion, where everyone is doing undead on the undead half of them anyway.
Kind of have to when in Rome, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so luckily this rogue is just kind of trying to do concoction stuff and doesn't have like any big minions hitting us in the face, so that feels great.
I have not been paying attention to this game so far, so I like.
So far he's just
Ruby and
like
Plague
been
Brain?
adding concoctions. Actually, he's not added any concoctions to his hand. Huh? He's just made them available for 0. Unless I haven't been paying that much attention either. I've been listening to you. We could honestly just play School Teacher, but if we want to discover, we could discover into Plague Grain. That honestly doesn't feel that bad either.
I like discovering a Plague Brain.
Yeah, see what this finds. Obliterate for 0? I mean, that's just good. But we also could go for two mana Death Strike. Or for feeling spicy.
I don't think Sunwell's the call here.
Yeah, this is kind of a juicy hand here. I think Death Strike maybe?
I like Death Strike. I'd rather heal myself for 6 than take 3.
Yeah. And it's not like we have to deal with like 14 minions, at least I hope not.
If we do, like, we're in trouble.
Was there a I don't know if you have access to this information, but was there any consideration to just removing stealth instead of adding 1 mana to Sinstone Graveyard? Do you feel like that would have been impactful enough?
I'm not on final design to be involved in all those discussions. I'm vaguely aware of some of it. I know, like, they looked at a bunch of possible things they could do. Then I think that was one of the things they considered. But
okay, well, he just got rid of our Marrogar, and we have exactly 6 damage to get rid of that. So we could always get rid of that, but at the same time, Army of the Dead trades perfectly into this board. So we just probably have the Army of the Dead here.
Yeah, I like Army. I like Army.
But yeah, I think that making it 6 mana, or making it 3 mana was just the right call. Because my biggest issue with Sinstone Graveyard was the fact that you could play it on 2 and then play Shroud on 3, and then you set up like your consistent combo so frequently. Like, at least now that it's 3 mana, like, you kind of have to choose one or the other.
Both are in chat. I'll take a look at the. It's not the sort of area that I would necessarily know about myself, but I'll make sure people are aware of that.
Questline animation being cut off by the opponent. Oh yeah, this I've noticed that if my opponent completes their quest, like the animation doesn't pop on my side. I don't know. I feel like that's been happening for a while though. Okay, so we just got a giant. Hello. That is a bunch of stats that Rogue cannot deal with. But if we end up playing, actually we can play wait, we don't have enough corpses for this.
Yeah, we don't have corpses for that.
I mean, if we double 3, and if he at least kills one of them, then this makes it 1 mana going into the next turn. That feels a little bit better than just playing it for 4 right now, yeah.
I like double 3.
It's also against a rogue, so these minions will have a very high likeliness to stick.
How many concoctions does he have at this point?
According to my deck tracker, I think he only has 1. And I can't even remember if it's been combined with another one. So, okay, now he's getting the concoctions.
Yeah, now he's looking for the 3 damage or destroys.
Ooh, I guess this is a question that I can ask. Is there a reason why you guys decided to go with the word concoctions instead of, like, toxins? Because toxins have been a thing in the past. Were you worried about people confusing the two?
Yeah, we wanted to make it clear what how they work. But the point was, toxins sound like very offensive things that are somehow toxic to the enemy minion or opponent or whatever. And concoctions are more general, of like you're mixing things together.
Okay, yeah. And since you're adding effects together and stuff, that does kind of feel a little bit more along the lines of what exactly is going on.
we call them mixtures for a while, I think. I think there was some conflict of running into mixtures also, so we didn't stick with that.
Okay, so I'm going for stats because against a rogue, I don't know how they're gonna deal with this. And it's right before the Scab's turn, and we still get these 3/3s if they die. Well, we'll get 1 3/3. But yeah, that definitely makes sense with the concoction like mixing aspect, because like obviously the community has done what a Hearthstone community will do with funny words being added into the game. Okay.
Also, Tito asked, "What's your favorite Death Knight rune? 3 Frost, 2 Blood, 1 Unholy, or are the decks out there we haven't figured out yet that the devs play in house?" My personal favorite is Triple Frost. I am a serious Frost fan. Other decks we haven't figured out yet. I think the triple rune decks are the most straightforward, and so they're the first to get optimized the most. They're the easiest to build. I think there's potential for some 2 rune decks. It's harder to find those.
The only
But-
archetype I've really been seeing people try out when they're mixing runes has been hand buff, for example. Because now that Blood Tap got hit with some buffs, I feel like the archetype has a lot more potential. But I do agree with you that like when people find a deck that's good in the class, they focus on optimizing that deck, and then it takes a while for someone else to think, oh, what if we were to do this? And then, case in point, no one was thinking of like Garrote Rogue this entire time with like Miracle Rogue and Death Rattle Rogue being a thing. But now that these decks have been hit, somebody has been focusing on Garrote Rogue and recently just made a post, and now more people are talking about it. So it's like once one person has success with it, it'll start being talked about. It's just a matter of when that person finds success with it.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
We could try to find Asphyxiate.
Yeah, I like School Teacher first, and if we don't find something we deals with the 10/10, we've got Talon.
Wait, Dark Transformation? Heartstrike, maybe? Heartstrike is enough if we trade these 3 minions. We could technically fit in a Hero Power, but that feels kind of bad. Dark Transformation, trade this 2 into Hero Power with this.
I think we just leave the 10/10 up. I think the Talon, we'll have 3 taunts, right? The Necromancer will drop 1 too. So I think we just ship it face and go.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think maybe there was an argument for trading the 4/4 into the 3/2. That keeps a taunt alive. But
we do have Scourge coming out next turn, so yeah, trying to just like keep the value of the board is probably more important. Honestly, like something that's important to point out is the fact that like we haven't taken any damage this entire game. And it just didn't feel like that. Like, I mean, it felt like there's a lot of back and forth, but unfortunately for Rogue right now, at least with like just how this game happened, they can't deal with this many minions. And this is something that Unholy is supposed to be able to be good against, is decks that, or I mean, Rogue does have a lot of damage, but it can't deal with wide damage every single turn.
Right. I think there's also, back to the previous conversation, I think there's also double Unholy Frost, I think maybe has some potential for aggro.
I've been looking at that too, because like adding a sticky board with the spell damage package seems like it could be really effective. Oh my god, what?
Wow. When was the last time you saw that played?
I don't think I've ever seen a rogue freeze a board like this before.
Dang.
Snowed in like an absolute baller.
Snowed in. Wow.
I mean, is this just a Scourge turn maybe? I mean, I could play taunts with the
We get so little out of the Scourge.
Yeah, so we could Hero Power, trade into this 3/1, then these have Reborn, and we could also play this Mortician. The Noggling does Dark Transformation, so we could easily make... well, actually, we don't have an Undead minion on the field right now, unless we just Hero Power.
We can Hero Power for 1. I like Necrotic first, to see if we can discover something particularly good.
Oh, Giants are free, I think.
They are. I do like Possessifier, though.
We do have Denathrius in hand, and it does increase
and a Marigar that we want more corpses.
I actually think that's the way to go. And then we have Hero Power attack, and we can play the Dark Transformation as well. Yeah, that works really well.
Yeah, that works really well.
I have to move. All right, not bad at all. And now we just have Sire Denathrius if we need to next turn.
Trade. Oh well.
Oh wait, yeah, we could have traded to the
Yeah,
one. You're right. You're right.
Slightly.
One skill that I am still trying to overcome is the fear of the rope. The rope just triggers so much anxiety at once if I'm not thinking about every single like little line, then I'll skip it for sure.
Yeah.
And in the moment, I forgot that I had rush.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 random minions. Like, and this is the funny thing. Like, now he has all of the removal, but at 8 HP. Oh, I'm sorry, 15 HP. Only so much that you can do.
13. How big is their Denathrius right now?
10 damage. Wait, so this is 7. He's at 6. Denathrius would have to get really lucky. This is probably just a Barogar turn.
This feels like Marigar, yeah.
Do we trade minions before it though?
No. In fact, we probably want a hero power first, I think.
Not even train the 1/1? Because we get 2/2 stats from it, right?
Yeah, but the fewer enemies or the fewer minions that Marigar summons, the more total stats. Because
I guess that is true actually.
The
Yeah, because
base
it
ones
summons
are
a
only
1/1. Yeah. Okay.
that may or may not line up where it matters, but yeah. We have 12 corpses, which is
Ooh. Oh, those were great. Those are really good.
yeah.
And now we can just ship the rest of the damage. Maybe if they have scabs, this is a little bit unfortunate, but we get the Marigar back. Well, I mean, but then we don't have corpse value though. Yeah, so scabs is the only out, but then they have
Scabs might
Denathrius.
suck. But if they scabs, we got Scourge.
That's true.
Or Denathrius. He's only got 2 2s or 4 2s on board then if he scabs probably.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough damage. There we go. Unholy getting a W.
All right. Let's do one more game. Let's do a blood game.
All right. We have to optimize the list a little bit unless you just want to play it as is. We'll just take a look here, and I can just add Discover though, because I think we absolutely need Renathal in this.
I think so.
So Renathal and some Discover is really all this deck needs. But the idea of the deck is it's pretty juicy. We have Bone Lord into Obliterate, because like Obliterate is just good to run the deck now as is. But the idea was if we have 30 cards and we could just play Bone Lord into Astalor combo, we can somehow like, you know, deal lethal damage. But we definitely need some Discover in this deck because there's only one Vizier. Or no, I'm sorry, there's no Viziers in this deck. Yeah, this definitely needs some optimization.